Hello, we are the 15 June 2011 in Tokyo, Japan. Well, 50 kilometers north of Tokyo, which makes 200 kilometers south of Fukushima Daiichi power plant. Some news from Japan. 6 more workers were confirmed to have been exposed at more than 250 millisieverts while working in the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant. So last time I told you 2 of them were exposed to 680 millisieverts. Since last week, 6 more workers got more than 250 millisieverts. We don't know exactly now how much exposure they had, but more than 250 millisieverts, which seems to be because the high level of radiation inside the reactor now are still really high, you know, 4000 millisieverts steam and stuff like that. Plus the problem at the reactor number 4, plutonium pool, which will probably expose a lot of people in the next step, because they have to find a way to keep this plutonium pool to avoid the pool to collapse. So we are a total of 94 workers now who have been officially exposed to more than 100 millisieverts, about 100 persons already. $50 workers died officially in Chernobyl, I think. That's what they say. Officially, 50 workers only died. So far, we have 100 workers who had exposure up to 100 and 250 millisieverts here in Japan. Another news. We found today a Japanese farmer who hung himself Saturday. He hung himself in his farm and wrote on the wall with white chalk some message. We can read one message of him was, "I wish there wasn't power plant in this area." Other message said, "I've lost my motivation to work." And he said, another message to other farmer, he said, "Don't succumb over nuclear plant." This farmer is one of them, one of those who have to throw the milk into the soil because they cannot send radioactive milk. This farmer had to kill 30 of his cows recently. And finally, he hung himself Saturday. We are in June in Japan. I don't know what you read from the Fukushima situation in your country, but I believe you read that the situation is almost under control. It's not true. Japan Times, today, 15 June 2011. We see here Italian citizens happy, enjoying. They have voted against the nuclear yesterday. Good job, Italy. Good job. But for those of you who would like to know what's happening in Japan, this is Italy and the people happy. And right here is Japanese situation. 34,000 children in Fukushima to get dosimeter. While Italy enjoy the non-nuclear vote from yesterday, here in Japan today, our government said to the parents they will distribute dosimeter to the Fukushima children. A dosimeter is a device that you put on you. This device will tell you how much radiation you take in your body. This is what a dosimeter is. 34,000 children in Fukushima will go to school with a dosimeter on their clothes. A device will make beep, 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 beep to tell them how much radiation they will have in their body every day. This is the situation. Japan will be the first country in the world who will send his children at school with a dosimeter. I have to say to Japanese people, dosimeter does not protect your children against the radiation. Dosimeter will just confirm how much radiation they take every day. This is not a solution. The solution is to stop the nuclear. Again, Japan news, right here. Nuke, non-use to up electricity bill. They are trying to make people afraid, to say to people that if we stop the nuclear energy, it will raise our electricity bill. They said the electricity bill will raise 1,000 yen per month if we stop nuclear energy. 1,000 yen per month. It makes $10, 9 euro per month. This is the cost of stopping nuclear energy. How can people have afraid to pay $10 a month? We will pay the $10 a month. And they will take off the nuclear power plant with no condition. People in Japan, look, Italian people vote against the nuclear. German people vote against the nuclear because they feel for the Japanese people who are affected by the nuclear crisis because it happened in Japan, Fukushima. In Europe, some countries are shut down their nuclear power plant. While in Japan, government tell you we need nuclear or you're gonna have to pay 10 yen. 10 yen electricity bill, it's nothing. Let's pay the 10 yen and we are gonna get rid of the nuclear. Look at this. 35,000 children will have a dosimeter to go at school. This is the picture that Japan will give to the world. Children with dosimeter against the radiation. Beep, 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 beep. This is how we are going to protect our children. Here, TEPCO begin water cleanup test. They said we have released into the ocean from Fukushima Daiichi in Japan. We have released in the ocean an estimation of 720,000 tetrabecquerel of radioactivity into the ocean, which means the same amount as the one we have released in the atmosphere, 770,000 tetrabecquerel. What we release in the ocean is the same as what we release in the atmosphere. They said that in the atmosphere the release is about 15% compared to Chernobyl, okay? So in the ocean right now, the release so far is also 15% compared to Chernobyl. If you totalize what we send into the ocean and in the atmosphere, we have released more than 30% compared to Chernobyl now. This will affect human health. This will affect sea life. This is called nuclear. And a dosimeter for your children will not change anything. Here, again, Japanese politician, despite crisis, nuclear to remain core energy source Kaiyeda. They are saying now in Japan that it is the time to reopen all of the power plants who are shut down. Right now we have only 35% of our power plant in function, and we have no electricity shortage right now in Japan. They say to make Japanese people afraid. We have to restart all the power plants, otherwise our economy will go down. This is not true, Japanese people. I live in Japan more than 10 years. I know the Japanese way of life. Japan is the only country, I think, who could keep his old traditions and modern life. This is what I really loved in Japan, to see the Japanese tradition still alive, while modernism was also present. Your economy will not collapse if we shut down the nuclear power plant. It's not true. The business of the nuclear industry will collapse. This will happen. And this is what they are afraid. So they tell you your economy will collapse. It's not true. There is solutions against the nuclear. There is many countries without nuclear power. These are the news today. The Japanese government shut down all the doors of communication with the people. They shut down the door. We cannot ask them to go back on the nuclear. They don't want. They want to reopen all the nuclear power plants in Japan, regardless that Japan released in the atmosphere and in the ocean so far 3 months after the explosion at Fukushima, 30% of the radioactivity that we release in Chernobyl. In 3 months' time only, 10% per month. In January, we will have surpassed Chernobyl here in Fukushima. Regardless of this, the government try to make pressure to the people, opinions, to tell them that if we don't restart nuclear, the economy will go down. My advice to Japanese people is this. You have a great country. You are a great people. I know it. I live here since more than 10 years. Don't be lied anymore by this nuclear government. You have a very strong culture in Japan. Don't lose it. Don't sell it for nuclear energy. Don't do that. Your Japanese culture will be your future. Save your culture in Japan. Save your traditions. In your traditions, you don't have nuclear power plant. Save your children. Save your traditional Japanese culture. You have to stop the nuclear. Here in Japan, we, residents in Japan, have released in the ocean, in the atmosphere of this planet, so far, 30% of radioactivity compared to Chernobyl. And the crisis, as you know it, is not finished. We have the duty, all of us who live in Japan, when Fukushima Daiichi exploded, we have a duty to the world. We have a witness duty for the world. We know what happened here. We know the radioactivity that we have released in the atmosphere for the world. We have the duty to stop the nuclear energy. All of us who are living in Japan now, in June and since March, we are witness of this. We have the duty to stop the nuclear industry all over the world. It's our duty. Japan, keep your culture, keep your traditions. You don't need nuclear. You are going to make it in Japan. Even the economy, you'll see, these are lies. The Japanese economy does not depend on nuclear energy. It's not true. You Japanese citizen, prove it to the world that your economy does not depend on nuclear energy. You can prove it to the world. In 5 years' time, we are going to say all over the world, look, they have stopped nuclear energy in Japan. It was a lie. We didn't need this energy. We don't need it. We need our cultures. We need our traditions. We need to see our children without a dosimeter to go in school. We need to have our children playing in safe ground. This is what we need. We need water without iodine, without calcium, without strontium. We need a land without plutonium. This is what we need to live happy. Japanese citizen, it's a time. It's a time to stop the nuclear energy.